The Wild open a 3-game homestand tonight against the Ottawa Senators as Minnesota tries to make it 7 wins in their last 9 on home ice. Our Northland Ford starting goaltenders.
Well, Robin Lehner gets the start. He's only played in 1 game in the team's last 10. It was a loss on December 27th, so he looks to get back going. And Darcy Kemper was named the starter immediately after shutting out the Nashville Predators the other night. And Mike Gill wanted to come back with the guy who right now has the hot hand, although both he and Nicholas Backstrom have played well in their last couple of games.
See the officials for tonight's game. Kemper stopped all 23 shots he faced in Nashville on Sunday night, helping the Wild to their 5th win in the last 6. One of those was keyed by a Justin Fontaine hat trick in Phoenix.
Like Joe said this morning, goaltending has been so key, and it could be the real difference maker. And I think in that 6-game losing stretch, as opposed to this last stretch where the Wild have won 5 of their last 6, you can point to many key saves, as we talked about in our spotlight, where goaltenders stepped up, whether it was Nicholas Backstrom or it was Darcy Kemper, that kept the team in it long enough for the Wild to get their legs.
Charlie Coyle at center. First shift for the Coyle-Zucker-Heatley line. That was so big in Minnesota's win in Nashville. Coyle tips this puck into the Ottawa zone. He's the first man in on the forecheck. Danny Heatley pokes at the puck, and the Senators gain control. Carlson at center ice has it poked away at the Minnesota line by Scandella. Loose puck winds up out front, and Kemper got a shoulder on it.
They get used to seeing Carlson carry that up ice. He's like an extra forward out there. Definitely jumps into the play and is one of the guys who's going to add a lot of offense from the blue line for the Ottawa Senators.
Carlson, the 2nd leading scorer among all NHL defensemen. Only Duncan Keith of the Blackhawks has produced more points from the blue line. Puck in the Minnesota zone. Niederreiter plays it back to Scandella and around to Prosser. Nate Prosser up the boards. It was deflected out to neutral ice by Pominville. Granlund ties up there. Niederreiter emerges with the puck for a moment. Lost it to Ceci, and then it comes out to center. Brodin plays it back to Suter. Suter's long pass tipped by Niederreiter in, and the Wild make a change. Cowan back to pick it up for Ottawa. Ceci got it to center ice, and it deflects out of play. Our Toyota Key Stat shows you the turnaround these teams have made. Ottawa had lost 5 of 7. Minnesota had lost 6 in a row. But look at what they've done in their last 6. Each team beaten only once.
And as we mentioned, no surprise that both teams have received very good goaltending. For Ottawa, it's actually the guy who's backing up tonight. Craig Anderson is 5-0-1 in his last 6 games. So he has put up some very good numbers. But they figured that if they don't get Lehner in there right now to play, he might not ever get in. Looking at their schedule, they wanted to get their backup in and to get the Craig Anderson a rest or a night off.
Kemper makes a stop here. Paul McLean, their head coach, talked about it this morning and said, we've got a heavy schedule coming up. Right now, they're in the midst of a stretch where on a road trip, they played just 3 games in 10 days. And he said, we've had an opportunity to practice some time off, so we'll throw Lehner in there tonight and then come back later in the week with Anderson.
And it's not always that easy to be on the road for that many days off. They do practice, they do some fun events. I know that in Nashville they had their rookie party, so they did some team building events without question, but very difficult to be on the road that many days without games. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You can have a lot of games in a short period of time that can be detrimental, or you can just have too many days off.
Long shot. Kemper got a stick on it. Senators hold the zone. Phillips with it along the wall. His shot right on. And it's flipped to the side by Kemper, but Ottawa controls. A lot of time in the defensive zone for Minnesota's 4th line. Aula, Veilleux, and Mitchell up front for Minnesota. Stoner trying to catch up with a puck in the corner. Out to the point for Phillips. Phillips, long shot, deflected. Kemper got a piece of it. Stoner clears to the wall, still not out. Finally, Blum has it for the Wild to Veilleux, who tips it into Ottawa territory, and Minnesota gets a much-needed change. At center ice, McCulloch after it in the corner, but we get a whistle and an icing call against Ottawa.
Well, so far the Wild doing a pretty good job, and one thing the Wild have done a very good job over the last few games is really keep teams at bay in terms of letting them in the middle of the ice for shots. A lot of their shots have come from the perimeter, and any goaltender would love to just handle those, keep them in the corner. Good hustle on that last shift by Stephane Veilleux. Gave his team an opportunity to get a wholesale change.
Smith wrestles the puck away from Charlie Coyle. Got it to the line. Brodin comes away with the puck. Couldn't hold the zone, however. And the Wild will regroup. Zucker at center. Throws it into the Ottawa zone. Leonard to play it. Up along the far boards. It's scooped up there by Conacher. Conacher drops it back in his own zone for Phillips. Phillips plays to the Minnesota line. It was deflected in by Milan Michalek. Coyle flips it back for Scandella. Heatley knocked down from behind as he plays the puck to the Ottawa line. Ryan in, and a long shot is gloved and held by Darcy Kemper. This is the dangerous line for Ottawa. MacArthur, Turris, and Ryan. The three of them have piled up huge numbers lately.
And if this is all you're giving them, look at the Wild through the neutral zone, not really giving up much, fronting that shooter, and that's just an easy cover, easy save for Kemper, getting a face-off in his own zone. But the Wild, so far in this game, have not really allowed Ottawa to skate freely. They have not allowed them a lot of neutral zone passing lanes. It's all been dump-ins or shots like that where they fronted them pretty hard. And if the Wild keep this up, they're going to frustrate Ottawa, and that's what they've been doing lately.
Spezza behind the net. Lays it out to the point. Carlson a long shot. Granlund got a piece of it. It squirts through on Kemper, and he smothers.
Here's tonight some of the examples of what the Wild have given up against Darcy Kemper. A perimeter shot. That might be one of the better ones, but another perimeter shot deflected away. That one can be dangerous with the deflection, but once again, a lot of room for him to make a save, and then that dump in. So Darcy Kemper, even though the Wild have been giving up, in some cases, more shots in different periods or even in the entire game, a lot of them have been fairly harmless, and they give a goaltender a chance to feel the puck, be in the game, and give his team a chance to get back out of the zone.
Nick Backstrom has won 3 of the 5 for Minnesota during this 5-1 stretch. Shot from the boards was deflected by Stoner. Veilleux hustles after the puck at center ice. Got it to the Ottawa line. Mitchell has it. Haula breaks toward the net. Mitchell tries to play to the corner. Veilleux gloves and drops. Haula has it there. Out to the point. Stoner dumps it back down low. Haula off the end wall. Veilleux uncovered out front. Mitchell's shot was deflected. Veilleux has it in the corner. Escapes one man. Still with the puck. Tried to play it to the point, but it's intercepted by Condra, who comes to center ice. And it's dumped in by Matt Cassian. Stoner back to recover for the Wild. As we go by the 5-minute mark of the first period. Ottawa's had the territorial advantage early. They've outshot the Wild 9-1, but we're scoreless. Kyle Turris races into the Minnesota zone. Drops it back for Ryan. Ryan bumped by Brodziak to Turris. Turris plays to the point. Cowan across to Carlson. Carlson shot blocked by Cook, who plays it out to center.
A good defensive zone coverage again by the Wild. So this is their top line. This line has really been getting it done for Ottawa. Basically skated around the whole perimeter and then got checked at the blue line, and the puck gets pushed out of the zone.
Mike Yeo opting to match that line with the Brodziak-Cook-Fontaine line. Weirkoch holds the zone. Plays to the corner. He's the first man in. Out to the point for Carlson, a shot. Kemper got the blocker on it. Heatley tries to poke it by Ryan. And the result is a turnover at neutral ice. MacArthur. Back to Weirkoch. And now up ahead into the Minnesota zone. Stone tied up by Coyle along the wall. Ryan Suter spins away from trouble. Lost the puck. Stone tried to center. That winds up behind the goal. And Scandella Banks it off the glass and all the way down.
Good curling move there by Scandella. Throws it right down to the house.
Greening dumps it in. Spezza escapes Scandella. Plays to the high slot. Greening has it. Greening shot blocked out front and cleared by Zucker. And Minnesota again will get a change. Spezza carries back in. McCulloch trying to cut to the net. He was tied up by Prosser. They're still tangled up in the corner. Prosser has him pinned up against the boards. Conacher whips it around to the near side. Ceci held the zone for a moment, but then the Wild able to clear. And Granlund plays it down into Ottawa territory. They fought back to pick it up. Leaves it for Ceci. McCulloch in. Stoner pokes it away. Zibanejad is there for Ottawa. He plays to the corner. Out to the point. Cowan with it. Cowan's entry was deflected by Pominville, who then floats it out to neutral ice. And again, the Wild get a change. Carlson lost it. Fontaine carries in. He's ridden off the puck by Smith. Penalty coming on the play as Smith and Fontaine were tangled up, and Fontaine's going to go. Minnesota will be shorthanded. A delayed penalty coming against the Wild. Condra plays across to Spezza. Spezza escapes Cook, trying to throw it to Carlson on the back door. Spezza holds, and as Brodziak makes contact with the puck, we get a whistle. Wild will go shorthanded. A test for Darcy Kemper. Kevin Gorg with more on the season for the Wild rookie goaltender next.
Senators 0 and the Wild 0 early on here in downtown St. Paul. Darcy Kemper makes his third start in the last 4 games, and guys, he's earned it. Comes off his first NHL shutout in Nashville, where he stopped all 23. Before that, a brilliant performance in Los Angeles, stopping 39 of 40 LA Kings shots. Earlier this morning, we asked head coach Mike Gill about the marked improvement of his young goaltender.
I just think confidence more than anything else. You know, he just looks much more composed and in control in the net. I think that it was evident in the shootout, you know, how confident he is when he made that save on Richards. But, you know, most importantly, the way he started the game last game as well. You know, I would say that earlier in the year, I think in large part because he hadn't played a lot of hockey at that time, I think he had a bit of a deer in the headlights look, whereas now he's gone into the net with sort of with the attitude that I'm going to prove myself, and certainly he's delivered.
And guys, he's starting this game awfully well. Stopped 9 out of 9, and he'll have to be really good on this penalty kill. The Senators have a lot of jump tonight, and if Darcy Kemper can buy the Wild some time, it could be critical if the Wild are going to win.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you're a goaltender with confidence, the puck looks like a big beach ball coming at you, but when you don't have it, it's like a BB. And earlier this season, you could tell just by his posture in the net that he thought it was a BB being shot at him. Right now, you know that he sees everything that's coming at him, and it's coming at him seemingly slower than it really is.
Senators on the power play. Right in the middle of the National Hockey League, 15th. Wild kill has been very good lately. 20 out of 22 over the last 9 games. Carlson races into the Minnesota zone. Flips to the corner for Turris. Stoner got there first. AU hustles to the point. Ryan sidesteps him and works his way down low. Carlson to Spezza. Spezza works his way down the wall. Drops it back out to Carlson. Carlson across. Ryan's shot was blocked. Carlson with it again. 17 of his 31 assists this year coming on the power play. Spezza to Ryan, and that shot goes off the end glass. Still 40 seconds in the Ottawa power play. Carlson got it to Turris. Across to Ryan. Ryan cut off by Stoner. Spins away. Ryan still with it. To the point for Carlson. And across to Spezza. Spezza works his way to the corner. To Turris, who tried to send a backhand pass across, and it was intercepted and cleared.
Well, it's creative plays like that, actually, that do make it through sometimes. You're not expecting them. It's when you're too regimented moving the puck around that defensive structures are able to read you.
Hanaker's shot deflects off the base of the net. The Wild are back at full strength. Just one shot for the Senators on their power play. And see if the penalty kill can inject some life into this Wild team. Ottawa's dominated the first half of the first period. Zibanejad into the Minnesota zone. Tried to drop it back. Intercepted by Brodziak to Pominville, who dumps it into Ottawa territory. Ceci back after it for the Senators. Granlund got a piece of it. Lines up out at neutral ice. Hanaker recovers and plays it back to Ceci. Weirkoch, and his pass deflects up and out of play. Scoreless past the halfway point of the first period. Scoreless past the halfway point of the first period in St. Paul. Celebrate the state of hockey as Wells Fargo and Fox Sports North present Hockey Day Minnesota. Enjoy the great history and tradition of hockey in Minnesota with over 16 hours of live coverage, special interviews, features, and more. Hockey Day Minnesota live from Elk River. Saturday, January 18th. Starts at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports North. And it'll wrap up right here in St. Paul with the Wild and the Dallas Stars. Zucker delivers a hit along the wall. Senators finally emerge with the puck. Clear it out to center ice. Brodin is there for Minnesota. To Zucker, who turns it back. Danny Heatley carries in. Heatley tried to center. It was out of the reach of Coyle and covered. Remember, if tonight's game goes to a shootout and the Wild win, everyone who brings a printed box score to participating Minnesota Arby's stores will receive a free order of curly fries. Offer is good for tomorrow only if the Wild win in an Arby's shootout tonight.
Well, this line is one to watch without question. Charlie Coyle, Danny Heatley, Jason Zucker. The key, of course, as we talked about in our open, is their structure defensively and in the neutral zone. See if they're able to turn that offensively like they have the last couple of games.
Scandella turns it back. Pominville had it for a moment. Scandella pokes it back his way. Granlund in the circle. Granlund centers, and Pominville couldn't get the redirect. Carlson disrupted.
Well, just couldn't reach around the defenseman's skate because he did have the puck in his wheelhouse, and a penalty coming up here on the back check. I think he missed and caught. Is that Carlson up high?
Granlund caught Carlson with a stick as he entered the Minnesota zone. They'll check for a cut. Obviously, Minnesota's going to be a man short.
Obviously, an inadvertent play. You see that play so often, and what it is simply
Minnesota penalty, number 64, double minor, high stick.
Oh boy, I don't know about a double minor on that. It was an unintentional, unless he cut him. He may have cut him or made his nose bleed, but you see that so often when players trying to lift the stick right here, trying to lift the stick just to get the puck to dislodge. You end up missing and catching him up in the face, and I think because of the potential bloody nose, that's why it's a double minor. But an unfortunate play there for the Wild, as now they have some serious killing to do.
Wild killed the first Ottawa power play, but this one 4 minutes in length. Ceci holds. McCulloch along the wall, plays down low. Conacher takes his spot, back to McCulloch. McCulloch into the circle, fires, his shot was blocked. Zibanejad went down, Ceci tries to hold. Suter finds Brodin behind the net. Brodin tried to clear, but it was deflected. Loose puck out front, Kemper got a piece of it. It deflects again, and this time Kemper has to make a stick save on McCulloch.
Oh, that's where your goaltender comes up so huge for you. A giveaway, and then there's an ensuing scramble, and that's where he made 2 or 3 very good saves.
Minute into the 4-minute Ottawa power play. Suter with another chance. This time he does clear. Ceci thought he had held the zone, but it just does escape, and the offside whistle allows Minnesota to get a change.
Well, you see it time and again where a giveaway, even in an inadvertent situation where you're trying to clear the zone, you don't get enough mustard on the shot, and all of a sudden your goaltender has to be a wall for you. And in this case, Kemper continued to be it. What I like about Kemper's game right now, he looks so calm. There's no panic or overreaction in his game. And he came up with a couple of big saves there.
What a good effort by Veilleux in the faceoff circle to win a physical draw and then get the puck all the way down for Minnesota. Carlson carries out for the Senators. Plays ahead to Turris. Turris centers, and what a redirect. Turris sent it all the way across, and Clark MacArthur flips it by Kemper. The power play goal has Ottawa on top 1-0.
And unfortunately, with 35 seconds left in the first power play, they get another 2 minutes to go to work again, scoring in the first half of the double minor. Watch this play develop, and the Wild have not been getting the kind of clears that they want. And this one, just a feed across the front and a redirect, as you mentioned. And what a great reach there by MacArthur. Turris just throws it into the scoring area. See, Kemper almost got it as it went underneath the arm. He just was unable to squeeze it.
Mike Yeo arguing here, and Daryl Sador was hot. I wonder if they think MacArthur was offside on the play. Yeo slams the door in disgust. It's a power play goal for Ottawa. And the first minor against Granlund is now canceled, but that means Ottawa still has 2 minutes with the man advantage. Carlson dumps it in. And Kemper plays it, but drops it, and the Wild get it clear. Beautiful feed to MacArthur for the finish. Ryan plays it into the Minnesota zone. Spezza along the wall. Drops it to Turris, who fires wide. Puck comes out through neutral ice. Matt Cook barking at an official here as he was taken down by Turris. No call coming against the Senators.
Oh, Wild probably feel they're owed one at least here in this game so far.
Turris plays down low for Ryan. Centers. Comes all the way out to the point for Spezza. Spezza's shot hit Ryan.
That deflected right up into his... did it buzz the tower? Catch his ear? Looks like it. Watch this and see if it's offside or not. Look at the high side guy there. There's the puck, and there's the leg dragging. It's tough for us to tell, obviously. Mike Yeo certainly felt, and Daryl Sador certainly felt. Watch this, probably a better angle, but watch the top side winger and the dragging of the foot. But the question is did Turris reach far enough with the stick to get it onside? And I will say this, linesmen rarely make a bad call on that, and that's saying something because there's a lot of very close plays, but you can't really remember a lot of times where you see it again and they've made the wrong call. That one is kind of inconclusive to us just because on both plays something was blocked.
You can't see where the puck was on either of those angles to know definitively whether or not it was offside. Weirkoch fires. It's blocked. Conacher keeps it alive behind the net. 15 seconds left. Kemper smothers, and we'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
But there are two factors to the favor of Ottawa, and that's likely why it wasn't called offside. First of all, MacArthur with the leg drag, so he gave a lot of time to Turris, and Turris actually extended his arms at the blue line almost to give MacArthur that bit of time that he needed. So I don't know whether it's 100% that he was successful, but there were two factors involved in trying to stay onside there, and the linesman obviously felt that they were successful.
13 seconds left in the Ottawa power play. Wild have been shorthanded for nearly 6 minutes out of the first 15 here tonight. Carlson's shot winds up floating wide of the goal. Eric Howell is there and is able to clear. And Smith played it with a high stick, so we're going to face off in the Ottawa zone. Minnesota is back at full strength, trailing 1-0 on the power play goal by MacArthur. Senators 1, Wild 0. Josh Harding still not with the Wild. He did appear on the ice this morning, and our Sanford Health Injury Report for his comments regarding his situation.
I've been working out hard, with our strength coach, Kirk Olson, and while the team's been gone, I've been on the ice. So, now it's just a matter of getting the reps in and getting back to, find a rhythm and get in control.
Well, Josh Harding, and even though the Wild have had two goaltenders, Kemper and Backstrom, who played well, don't forget what Harding has done this year in 29 games, 1.66 goals against, 93 save percentage, 18-7-3 record with the 3 shutouts, but he has really put up some decent numbers for the Wild, and that's what the Wild are looking to have back in their lineup as soon as they can.
Probably the team's most valuable player for the first half of the season. Those numbers you mentioned among the league's best. He's number 1 in goals against, number 2 in save percentage. Harding has missed 10 of the last 12 games, including 6 in a row for Minnesota. Pominville's clearing attempt winds up in the Minnesota bench. Armenard's game reset. Penalty trouble for Minnesota tonight. They've been shorthanded 3 times already, and Clark MacArthur made them pay on one of those with his 16th goal of the season. Carlson, no surprise, assisted on the play.
Carlson's such a quarterback on that power play. I mean, at one point he was working the left side, feeding it to the back door. The other time he was down on the right half wall, working it around. Very instrumental in their power play.
Heatley tried to slide it ahead for Zucker. Stone has it at neutral ice and plays it back in. Prosser there for the Wild. Sidesteps a man, recovers the puck in the corner, dumps it ahead. Heatley chasing it down, trying to pick the pocket of Carlson. He did, but could not pull the trigger. Now Stone comes away with it. Zucker pokes it away from Spezza at the Minnesota line. Scandella, good stick, stripped Wirtz to the puck. Zucker has it at center and dumps it in for Minnesota as the Wild make a change. Banked ahead for McCulloch into the Minnesota zone. Ryan Suter flips it to Niederreiter behind the net. Niederreiter's pass winds up right on the stick of Zibanejad, who fires it on goal. Kemper handles a bit of a changeup.
Yeah, Wild have to be careful. We saw one failed clear by Brodin on that penalty kill. They created 2 shots. This one wasn't a very hard shot, but you can't be turning pucks over in between those hash marks. Give your goaltender fits. Make the simple play out of the zone. Carry it. If you have to, chip it out. But the Wild can ill afford to come up the middle of the ice like that.
Granlund removed from the faceoff circle. Pominville takes his spot. MacArthur emerges with the puck to Ryan, centered for Turris. Suter got a stick on it. And Granlund's able to force the puck out of the Minnesota zone. Less than 3 minutes left in the first period. Senators have controlled play. The Wild have just 1 shot on goal. Niederreiter works his way in. A backhander knocked down by Leonard. Coyle wins a battle along the wall for the puck. Coyle carries down low, lost it to Turris. And the Senators start back. Carlson nudges it ahead for Ryan. Ryan's long shot just wide. Heatley behind the net. Got it to Suter. Heatley for Zucker. Zucker splits 2 defenders. Then couldn't get a shot away. Coyle has it. Leaves it behind for Zucker. Zucker trying to escape a check. Plays to the point for Stoner.
I think Zucker tried the exploding shoulder there, but kind of missed.
Turris dumps it in. Senators change as Scandella tries to fight off a check from Greening. Greening playing in his 200th National Hockey League game tonight. Granlund to Pominville. Granlund breaks back toward the net. Pominville shot kicked aside by Leonard. Pominville lets it go by for Stoner. Stoner to Pominville, back to Niederreiter. Now Granlund in the corner. Tied up as Niederreiter joins the fight. Smith plays it around. Stoner pinches to hold. Karam off the glass. Wound up right on the stick of Greening. Pominville back to Stoner. 70 seconds left in the period. Stoner to Heatley at center, and the puck deflects up and out of play. Our CenturyLink link to what's next. We'll have the Star Tribune's Michael Russo, our NHL insider, will join us. Take a look around the National Hockey League. It's coming up during our first intermission. Coyle wins the draw for Minnesota. Zucker tried to slide one ahead for Coyle, but that's turned back, and McCulloch dumps it in. Conacher's quickly on it for Ottawa, watched by Suter. Left it behind for McCulloch. Zibanejad tried to center. That was broken up. However, a shot results for McCulloch, and Kemper got a skate on it. Heatley rides Cowan into the wall. Zucker pokes it to the corner. Coyle is there. Coyle tried to play to the point. Finally does get it to Brodin. Now Zucker in behind the net. Final seconds of the first period. Carlson fanned on it. Lost it to Heatley. Heatley tried to poke it to Zucker, but went down.
Looks like he was taken down, and the fans certainly wanted a tripping penalty.
Mike Yeo livid as he heads to the locker room. Senators get 3 power plays in the first period, score on one of them, and lead 1-0.
That's pretty much the story here. Other than that, there was not a lot of momentum generated by either team.
Kevin Gorg will chat with Nate Prosser. 1-0 Senators after one. 1-0 in favor of Ottawa after one here at the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul. A period dominated by the visitors. They had 6 minutes of power play time. And Clark MacArthur continued a recent scoring surge. He has goals in 5 of his last 6 games. Let's check in with Kevin Gorg with assistant coach Daryl Sador.
Coach, certainly some calls didn't go your way. What was the message to the players in the locker room for period 2?
Well, I mean, the calls were, we weren't moving our feet. We were flat-footed. We didn't have any urgency, so we need to correct it right now.
Good luck in the second.
Thanks.
Guys, up to you.
Yeah, you could say that the penalties put the Wild on their heels, or you could look at it and say the reason they took the penalties is because they were, like Daryl said, flat-footed and on their heels already, and that just exacerbated the problem.
I don't think there's any question all 3 calls against Minnesota, well, 2, but one being a double minor, were indeed penalties. Mike Yeo was upset that they didn't get a call themselves toward the end of the period. But Minnesota didn't spend much time in the offensive zone, only 6 attempted shots in the first period.
And that works both ways. If you're not moving your feet, you generally take penalties, and you generally don't get calls for yourself either.
Matt Cook scoops up the puck at center and dumps it into the Ottawa zone. Fontaine in on the forecheck. Wrestled off the puck by Carlson. Senators are quickly back the other way with Cowan at the Minnesota line. Jonas Brodin goes back after it. Tied up by Bobby Ryan, and Cook intercepts a pass in the circle. Dumps it out to neutral ice. Methot back to pick it up for the Sens. Ottawa 5-0-1 in their last 6 games. The only blemish, an overtime decision against Colorado. Minnesota 5-1 in their last 6. The only blemish, a home loss against Colorado. Long shot tipped by McCulloch and gloved by Kemper. And let's go back to the only goal of the game. The Wild coaching staff questioned whether this play was onside.
Well, you see the foot drag right there, and the puck coming over the line looks like simultaneously with the toe. You see it backed up a little bit and then forward. That toe is dragging, and the stick is on the forward part of the blue line. So
really a very good play on both ends. You mentioned it before. Turris by forcing the puck forward and MacArthur dragging the toe simultaneously.
yeah, that was enough, I think, to have the linesman make that call. He was right on the blue line, and we'll thank our friends from Ottawa who gave us that little look there.
Pominville fires and a save. Leonard has not been busy tonight. That's only the 4th shot on goal for the Wild. But this line started to show some life late in the first period. Niederreiter and Pominville had a brief flurry. And here Pominville with the first shot of the second frame.
Isn't it their turn? The Wild have had a lot of heroes step up game after game. And this line by no means has played poorly. We'd just like to see them put in a few goals and add to the onslaught that the Wild have pushed forward here.
Granlund in the corner. It was their night in Los Angeles when Niederreiter had the only goal and then the shootout winner. Pominville leaves it behind for Granlund. Again, extended time in the offensive zone for the Wild. Scandella able to hold. Prosser down the wall. Keeps the play alive for Minnesota. Cowan flips it off the dasher. Just does escape Niederreiter. Pominville trying to pick it out of the official skates. Wild in the midst of a change. And the Senators gain the puck. Cowan sets up behind his net, watched by Charlie Coyle. Condro run down by Stoner. Managed to get the puck ahead, however, and Kemper makes a save on Zibanejad.
Good way to slow the opposition down. Step up on him. Clayton Stoner shows the timing involved in making a hit like this. Always got to be aware, and now you know that when there's a pass like that up the middle with a quick chip in, you think twice about putting your head down.
Haula has him tied up along the wall. Minnesota with a slight edge in the hits department. Here comes Eric Haula with speed into the Ottawa zone. A shot and a glove saved by Leonard. We're going to face off in the Ottawa zone.
Well, here's one thing that we haven't seen a lot from Haula, not because of lack of effort. It's just that he has played a lot of fourth line minutes, and when you play on that fourth line, you don't often get a lot of the offensive style opportunities. And right there, Haula gets a feed, and he's off to the races with a good hard shot glove side.
I asked Haula today about the changing roles and the fact that he spent his college career on the top line, power play time, has spent time in Iowa in the same spot. And he said, you know what, I've always taken pride in my defensive zone play anyway. And here, I still think we can score even though we're labeled as a fourth line.
It is a different role, and he's definitely showing that he can play both sides of it.
Good stick by Brodin, forced a turnover. Brodziak couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Fontaine banks it down into Ottawa territory. Carlson sets up behind his net. Watched by Matt Cook, and the Senators start out. Turris across to Ryan. Ryan back for Turris. It was knocked down by Brodziak and cleared. Cook racing after it, but Cowan will get there first. Played it to the far corner. Cook squirts it loose to Granlund. Down low for Fontaine. Fontaine fires from a tight angle. Leonard with a save. And the Senators come back with Ryan. Blum got a stick on it and now comes back to pick it up. Jonathan Blum for Minnesota. Wild relay it in. Leonard to play it. Granlund took it away. Centers! Had a chance with Leonard out of position, but it was deflected off a defenseman's skate. Blum tried to go to Granlund. Methot clears and out. Blum has to come back after it. Pominville sneaks one ahead for Haula. Haula in on the forecheck. spun around, knocked off the puck, and Conacher plays it to center ice. McCulloch at the Minnesota line sends it in. Scandella back there for the Wild. Prosser starts up the wall. Reaches center ice and plays it in. Howell double teamed in the corner. Condra poking at it. Prosser now pinches to try and hold. Delivers a big hit. Mitchell's shot flutters up and out of play. Physical shift for Nate Prosser.
Well, former Wild Matt Kassian there giving me a good run along the wall, and that's what you got to do to pay the price if you're going to pinch. Prosser kept that one in. A couple games back, Prosser with an assist using the same kind of move, keeping it in the zone.
Howell to draw against Smith. Smith wins the draw for Ottawa. Kassian got it to the Minnesota line. Condra plays it in. Smith tied up by Scandella. Prosser joins the fight. Weirkoch holds. Pestered there by Veilleux, but managed to hold the zone. Smith run over by Prosser. A very physical shift for Nate Prosser. Mitchell slams on the brakes along the wall. Lost the puck. Kassian to Condra. Couldn't handle it cleanly, and now Veilleux pushes ahead. Howell at center dumps it in on the backhand. Wild trying to get off on a change, but Howell is tangled up with Phillips. Senators clear. Suter knocks it down back in his own zone. Heatley sidesteps a man. Heatley carries into the Ottawa zone. Winds and fires. Saved by Leonard. And he has to cover with Zucker bearing down on him. Danny Heatley had a two-point night when the teams met in Ottawa earlier this year. A goal and an assist.
You can tell he's feeling it. In this case, it was the right move. Instead of trying to force a pass, he takes a shot, and that's where you want your wingers driving in on the net. Tried to use the defender as a screen, and Leonard just made the save. Wasn't 100% control of the rebound, but eventually got in touch with it.
Coyle wins the draw. Zucker tried to center. It's loose. Leonard got a stick on it, and Carlson pokes it ahead. Zucker racing back, picks the pocket of Spezza. Suter trying to get it to Coyle. That's intercepted. Carlson holds his own. A shot and a glove save by Kemper. May have been headed wide, but impressive snap of the left hand nonetheless for the Minnesota goaltender.
He looks very confident right now and locking down everything that comes at him. One thing that you look at goaltenders and the first judgment you make a lot of times is what is he doing on his rebounds? Is he steering them aside? Is he letting them drop 2 feet in front of him? Is he catching everything or just knocking it down? Darcy Kemper has been doing the affirmative in pretty much every of those situations.
Justin Fontaine for Minnesota. Played it out to center. Turris turns it back. Got it to Ryan. Ryan forced to the outside by Suter. Sends it cross ice. Brodin's the first man there. Cowan trying to hold the zone but can't. Fontaine has it. Into the Ottawa zone. Fontaine on the backhand. Whips one wide. Cook delivers a hit along the wall. Fontaine with the puck. Brodziak was loose out front for a moment. Carlson able to play it ahead to Ryan. And the Senators come back. Brodin knocked it out of the air. MacArthur, the goal scorer for Ottawa, sends it in. It bounces in on Kemper, and he'll hang on. Much better start for the second period for Minnesota, but they still trail 1-0.
Senators lead 1-0. It's time for some Central Intelligence as we look around the division. Defenseman Roman Polak missed the prior 10 games with a lower body issue. Back for the Blues, who've won 7 of 8. TJ Oshie gets him in the saddle early. They lead 1-0 over Phoenix. The Avalanche looking to avenge a blowout loss in Chicago from December 27th and off to a good start, leading 2-0 early in the second. And the Dallas Stars still looking to end that losing streak, guys. They've lost 6 consecutive. They blew a 2-goal lead in their most recent outing against the Islanders, and they are also off to a good start. They lead Edmonton 3-1 late in the first.
Yeah, you don't want Dallas getting too hot. The Wild play them a couple times here at the end of the week.
Saturday night is a part of Hockey Day Minnesota, and then teams meet again in Dallas next Tuesday. Clayton Stoner to Scandella, who starts out for the Wild. Long pass. Off the mark at center. Turned back by Mathot. Stoner has it for the Wild. Clayton Stoner to Charlie Coyle, who tried to tip it across to Zucker. Scandella blasts one in. Danny Heatley sends it down low. Wild in the midst of a change. Granlund around to Heatley in the corner. Heatley tries to work around a check. Granlund swoops in, grabs the puck. Granlund still with it. Looking for a lane. Finally got it to Niederreiter. Lost it in his skates for a moment. Heatley's been on the ice a long time. McCulloch couldn't get it out of the zone. Niederreiter plays it back in. And it's finally banked out to neutral ice. Conacher into the Minnesota zone. Trying to work his way around Suter. Suter got a stick on the puck. Ryan tracks it down, drops to the point for Carlson. His pass intercepted by Suter, but Carlson now has it back. Carlson stops, fires, saved by Kemper.
Carlson showing his stick handling prowess there, moving the puck around. That's why he's one of the better offensive style defensemen in the league. And he just comes in, he sees a lane, and he takes it. Pushes guys back with his good stick handling and pulls back for a good shot on goal. And again, Darcy Kemper just continues to look strong and challenge. He's a big goaltender. Probably asking, why isn't he 2 feet out on top of that blue paint? But when you're 6'5", 210, you can afford to hang back a little bit. Not too deep, but he was in plenty good position to lock that one down.
Fontaine just onside. Got it to Prosser, a shot. Saved by Leonard. Fontaine was tied up on the rebound. Prosser holds it. Fontaine tried to center. It deflects to Cook in the corner. Cook to Fontaine along the end wall. Those two battle with Turris. Ryan finally able to play it out for Ottawa. Icing waved off and the Wild forced to play the puck. Brodziak's long lead pass. Intercepted by Spezza, who carries in. Played it across. MacArthur was heading off on a change. The puck hit him, but the player replacing him had not yet come out of the ice. Mitchell's shot kicked out by Leonard. Mitchell delivers a check, but Spezza comes back the other way. Lost it to Blum at center ice. Blum plays it into Ottawa territory. Blum disrupts the entry, and Eric Howland dumps it back in for Stoner. Blum battling there with Greening. Spezza tried to center. Mitchell intercepts for the Wild. Tap to Howland. That was off the mark. And again, the Senators able to hold the zone. Kemper covers a carom off the end boards.
Yeah, Mitchell just tried to, since he was turned around with his back facing the blue line, he just tried to chip that to one of his defenders. The Senators still, other than that power play time they've had in the first period, really haven't forced as hard as I thought they might. While still doing a very good job, but need to get some more offensive zone time. Put some combinations together with a couple of cycles and try and put some pucks on Leonard.
It's remarkable the difference in the Senators club. Last year they were 27th in the league offensively, but second best defensively. This year those numbers almost reversed. They're 27th on the defensive side and 11th in scoring. Been a defensive effort so far here tonight. Drop to Scandella. His shot goes off the end glass. Granlund pokes it into the corner. Pominville scoops it up and fires. Leonard may have gotten a piece of that. Suter from the wall. Pominville to Granlund behind the net. Granlund tries to walk out front. He's pulled down. Didn't get much on it and just rolls it on goal. Leonard covers.
Granlund lost his footing at the side of the net as he tried to wrap it in.
Fox Sports North welcomes the 19th annual Minnesota Vikings Arctic Blast Snowmobile Rally, benefiting the Vikings Children's Fund, February 8th and 9th in the Lake Mille Lacs area. Meet current Vikings players, alumni, and more. Visit FoxSportsNorth.com and click on the More tab for complete event details. Wild win the draw. Suter to Cook behind the net. Cook trying to escape Turris along the wall. Plays it all the way across for Suter. In behind for Brodziak. Brodziak to Cook. Cook ridden into the boards by Ceci. Cook then tried to walk out front and had the puck just roll off his stick. Physical shift by Cook as he again keeps the play alive. Finally, Ceci tried to clear. Blum holds but fell. Took away a scoring chance for Minnesota. Brodziak scoops it up to Zucker. Zucker bearing down. Got a backhander on goal, but didn't get much on it. Leonard covers. And the Wild starting to generate some chances. But so far, Leonard has stopped them all. It's 1-0 Ottawa.
Senators still lead 1-0. We're on the best with Wild forward Justin Fontaine. You guys seem to have better jump this period now. What's the key to using that to either get a goal or get a power play situation?
Yeah, I got to keep working it down low. I mean, first period we turned over too many pucks. Right now we're just getting it low and taking it to the net, and it's going to come.
Guys, up to you.
I like the confidence. Wild have been finding a way over this recent stretch. 5 wins in 6. A couple of them have had this kind of a feel where they were outplayed in the first period, but found their game as the night progressed. Smith drops it back to Spezza. Coyle taps to Heatley. Back to Coyle. Coyle enters the Ottawa zone. Tied up by Stone, but manages to maintain his feet and the puck. Heatley along the wall. Twice a 50-goal scorer while playing for Ottawa. Brodin back down low. Stone hit by Coyle, but Stone played the puck, got it to the line. Brodin holds, lines and fires, saved by Leonard. Puck is loose. Leonard couldn't find it, but neither could the Wild. Brodin holds, lost his stick. It's going to be a penalty. And the slashing minor will put the Wild on the power play for the first time.
Charlie Coyle wanted to know why the whistle was blown as he had control of the puck. I think they felt that Spezza touched it, but definitely he's going to get the...
Oh, number 19 to the slashing.
Well, the Wild realize that if they spend more time in the offensive zone, they're going to get more power play opportunities. And actually, I understand why Charlie Coyle was a little peeved that that whistle was blown. The Wild had control of that puck. Should have been a delayed penalty call there with the Wild in possession. Nevertheless, they have their first power play of the game.
Kevin Gorg, there have been some conversations between the Wild coaches and the officials tonight.
Yeah, the Wild bench was warned in that most recent TV timeout, and Mike Yule up and down the bench said, guys, no matter what you do right now, you need to lay off the officials. They are begging to call us for a misconduct, and obviously the Wild heeded that warning, stayed off the officials, and now get a power play.
Ryan Suter from the red line plays it in. First power play of the night for Minnesota. Heatley's ridden hard into the end boards. Smith comes away with the puck for the Senators. Senators a year ago were the best penalty killing team in the National Hockey League. This year, significantly down. They are 22nd at just under 80%. But again, here they're able to clear, and the Wild nearing the halfway point of the power play without gaining the offensive zone. They'll make the change and go to the second power play unit. Zucker races in for the Wild. Drops to Niederreiter. Back for Zucker, just out of his reach. Brodin just did get to the point in time. Niederreiter plays it back out to the point, but it gets by Brodin and comes out to center. Blum for Brodin. Brodin plays it in. Zucker, Niederreiter, and Fontaine up front. Zucker on the puck. Got it to Brodin. Brodin sends it off the end boards. Niederreiter's there. Fontaine trying to help out. Zucker joins the fight. And the Senators able to clear once more as it just gets by Blum at the far point. Final seconds of a Minnesota power play. Turris lost it to Fontaine in the corner. Fontaine drops it back. But the power play is over. The Senators are at full strength.
Wild never really gained possession in the offensive zone there to set up their power play, either one.
MacArthur got it to Spezza. His backhander hit the side of the net. Stone. And now at the point, it's Mathot for a shot. Kicked out easily by Kemper. Wheatley bobbled it at center, and it's played back in. Spezza with a drive that goes off the end glass. Blum trying to settle a bouncing puck. Got it out to neutral ice. Senators play it right back in. Ottawa seems to have gotten some jump from that penalty kill. Brodziak along the wall fires, and a pad save by Leonard. Veilleux working on the back check against Condra. Condra plays it in behind the Minnesota goal. Cassian tied up there. Smith. And a shot is blocked out front. Scandella hustling with Condra in the corner. Nate Prosser for Minnesota. Slides one ahead for Mitchell. Mitchell recovers the puck. Mitchell dropped it back, and it was behind Haula. Haula was uncovered, trailing the play. Prosser again with it for Minnesota. Works his way to the outside. Had it poke checked away by Smith. Wild maintained control. Mitchell plays it back down low. Veilleux was bumped into the Ottawa goal. And the Senators come away with the puck. Yurkach slides it across, and now a long lead pass from McCulloch. Honecker takes a shove, tried to center. Haula intercepts. His pass off the heel of the stick to Pominville, and the Wild bring it in. They're offside. The Senators clear quickly anyway. Suter turns it right back. Pominville just did hold the line with his skate, but again the Senators quick to exit. Honecker into the Minnesota zone. Knocked away by Suter, and Granlund scoops it up. His pass to Niederreiter at center. They're 2-on-3 at the Ottawa line. Niederreiter trying to jump around a check. Zibanejad is there. He has Granlund tied up. Granlund centered. Nobody home for Minnesota, and Bobby Ryan starts back for the Senators. Ryan into the Minnesota zone. Stoner there for the Wild. His pass just out of the reach of Niederreiter, who sprawls to get it into Ottawa territory and then goes off on a change. Turris in to MacArthur. Tried to go across for Ryan. It was deflected in behind him. Charlie Coyle scoops it up for Minnesota. Got it to Blum. Coyle carries out of the Minnesota zone with speed through the neutral zone. Coyle bobbled the puck as he tried to center. Now it's loose, controlled by Brodin, and his shot's blocked.
Wilder taking a couple of extra seconds on every play. Mitchell down the wing, Brodin there. I think they're starting to try to look for the perfect pass rather than just firing one on net.
Brodin plays it up the wall. Weirkoch holds, then he's run down by Coyle. Centering pass. Scooped up by Phillips, who's down low. He battles with Wheatley in the corner. Suter plays it up the boards. Spezza tied up by Brodin. Wheatley trying to corral the puck behind the net. Coyle taps it back to safety and around to Brodin. Clearing attempt. Knocked out of the air by Stone, who then goes off on a change. Zucker intercepts his pass behind Wheatley. Weirkoch holds. Tried to send it all the way across, and Zucker scoops it up for Minnesota. Zucker plays it to the Ottawa blue line. Wild finish a forward change as we approach 2 minutes left here in the second period. Drive right on by Zibanejad, gloved and held by Kemper. Ottawa still leading 1-0. Wells Fargo College Night Student Cam shows you some of the students tonight, with the Senators leading the Wild 1-0. Our Window Concepts game reset. Power play goal by MacArthur, the only tally tonight. Kemper has been very good for Minnesota with 21 stops on 22 shots.
Wild haven't given up too many glaring opportunities. And the one thing that they've done so well over the last 5 or 6 games is they've shown a lot of patience in games where they haven't opened things up in order to gain some advantage offensively. A lot of times, and if you trail in a game especially, that could cause you some problems, give some bigger chances against. As long as they continue to do that, I think they'll be in a good spot. They're starting to get some looks offensively, starting to be able to carry the puck into the offensive zone, which shows you some signs that they're coming up through the neutral zone with some speed.
Suter trying to hold the zone, can't do it. And MacArthur carries in. Ryan spins away from Brodin. MacArthur left it for Cowan. Cowan tied up by Suter in the corner. Their battle continues, and Kemper smothers to get a whistle. Wild were outshot 15-3 in the opening period. They have a 9-7 edge here in the second. Game's been much more even in the middle period.
One thing I like that even when the Wild get outshot, as in that first period and as in games that we've seen in the last week or two, the chances against aren't always as lopsided, which means the Wild are doing a pretty good job of limiting grade A opportunities against.
Fontaine at center. Plays it into the Ottawa zone. Senators have been very efficient most of the night, exiting their zone. Fontaine knocked it out of the air, kicked it to Brodziak. Fontaine lost his stick on the play. Cook dumps it in. Final minute of the second period. MacArthur's power play goal for Ottawa. The only goal. Fontaine intercepts. His shot deflects wide. Brodin able to hold. Cook around behind for Brodziak, who tried to center. Fontaine was floating in the high slot. Brodziak tries to hold the zone, but Smith has it. Sends it across with a half a minute left. Ceci into the Minnesota zone. His shot goes off the end glass. Jonas Brodin races back for the Wild. Gains the offensive zone. Brodin floats a backhander on goal, and it's held by Leonard.
A little pushing and shoving there as Heatley's helped into the goal by McCulloch. Once again, Wild unable to find any kind of secondary opportunity off a line rush.
Seconds left in the period.
Leonard's played in one of the Ottawa games in the last 10. It was a loss on December 27th. Wild had some more chances in this period, but have really yet to pepper them or test them or find any kind of rebound chances on that goaltender.
Couple of chances right here for Minnesota. Suter holds his own. Pominville wheels and fires. Heatley tried to center for Coyle, but that was intercepted by Smith and cleared out to center ice. Period comes to a close. With the score the same as it was when we started, 1-0 Ottawa.
Better period, but the Wild need to continue to own some more offensive zone time. They really have not tested the Ottawa defense in that manner.
Kevin Gorg will chat with Torrey Mitchell in our upcoming second intermission when we return.
I just think confidence more than anything else. You know, he just looks much more composed and in control in the net. I think that it was evident in the shootout, how confident he is when he made that save on Richards. But, most importantly, the way he started the game last game as well. I would say that earlier in the year, I think in large part because he hadn't played a lot of hockey at that time, I think he had a bit of a deer in the headlights look, whereas now he's gone into the net with sort of with the attitude that I'm going to prove myself, and certainly he's delivered.
And Kuemper delivering again tonight. He stopped 22 of 23 to this point.
And he's getting some help defensively as well. Most of the shots that he's receiving are ones that are out of the scoring areas, if you will. He's had to make a couple of good saves on deflections. But once again, as in when he made so many saves in the LA game, there's not a lot of secondary chances. When the shot comes in, he's either doing a good job with the rebound, hanging onto it, deflecting it out of harm's way, or the Wild are doing a good job in front of him, boxing out and not really giving any second chances. That always helps a goaltender, especially a young one.
In Kuemper's first 2 appearances this year, he stopped 10 of 16 shots, 62.5%. In the last 2 games and 2 periods, he's 84 of 86. That's a 97.7 save percentage.
And I think with the way the Wild are playing in front of him, this is more indicative of how he plays. You remember he showed us some good signs last season as well. And earlier on this year, as Mike Gill mentioned, just maybe not enough minutes under his belt. And stepping up into the National Hockey League was a bit daunting, at least early on. Certainly has the confidence now, and in this situation, doing his job here, the Wild now need to get down in the offensive zone and do theirs.
Suter's pass nearly sent Matt Cook in.
Well, good stretch pass there by Suter, and he has such great vision. Last game against Nashville, he sent Charlie Coyle in a similar fashion. Coyle did not score in that one circumstance, but nevertheless, Ryan Suter sees the ice so well, and if you give him a seam on a stretch pass, typically he'll nail a guy and catch you flat-footed.
See, Matt Cook was pointing to the tape on his stick to argue that he touched that puck. He said, I've got a black mark on my fresh tape. The argument is to no avail, and it's icing against Minnesota.
There's no forensics allowed in hockey.
Fontaine fires it in. Brodziak plays it in behind the goal. Centering pass for Cook comes out to neutral ice. Suter wraps it back in for Minnesota. Just getting started with the third period. Minnesota's won 6 of their last 8 on home ice. 5 of their last 6 games overall. Foster to Scandella. Granlund brings it in. Niederreiter fires. Saved by Leonard. Rebound poked away.
Good shot, but I always like those ones off the pads. Tougher for a goaltender to control. And also gives your forechecking forward a bit of a look.
Pominville tried to thread the needle on a long one to Niederreiter. Granlund now carries to center for Minnesota. Wild won the first meeting between the teams this year in Ottawa despite being outshot. They were outshot that night 37-25 and won 4-3. A lot tighter here tonight. Just 1 goal scored in the game, and that was on the power play. Senators with a 9-shot advantage, but the numbers down for both teams, just 23-14.
Well, Niederreiter showing some hustle on that last play, just getting in on the wing. And right now the Wild have to take any opportunity that's given to them. And sometimes that means jumping into holes and giving your line mates something to aim at, some kind of jump where you find a hole and they have to put the puck in there and let you skate into it.
Torrey Mitchell plays it across to Stoner. Stoner tries to go all the way back across to Mitchell. Mitchell runs it down in the corner. Circles the net, still with the puck. Out to the point for Stoner. A long shot, hit a skate out front of the net. Wild trying to create some traffic in front of Leonard. And Veilleux flips it in. Granlund centers, and Mitchell was alone, but the pass behind him. Senators come back to center ice. Kassian dumps it into the Minnesota zone, and Blum goes back to pick it up. Jonathan Blum reaches center. Jams one into the Ottawa zone, and Leonard will just cover and get a face-off in his own zone.
Well, for their part, Ottawa's also doing a good job of really not allowing a lot of chances while trying to get pucks to the net. Defensemen are kicking and blocking them out and forcing the Wild to make quick plays through the middle that really aren't connecting. That chance by Mitchell was a forced play, but they didn't have time to really get the puck to him in a scoring situation.
Pominville plays to Niederreiter. Granlund swoops in and grabs the puck. Granlund shoved from behind by Mathot. On his knees, he maintained the puck for a moment. Now Niederreiter has it. Pominville out to the point. Suter a long shot. Got through. And Leonard with the stop in spite of Niederreiter standing directly in his line of sight.
Well, that's more like it. That's one of the first ones that's actually gotten through. And typically, those are going to come off a stick of a guy like Suter. He sees it all the way in. And he shoots it to a blade of Niederreiter's stick. You see Niederreiter, a left-handed shot. Suter, we were talking to Parise in the booth here a few games back. He says, you know what, that's one thing Suter does very well, and that is shoot it towards my blade or shoot it towards a forward's blade. You've got to be paying attention whether you got a righty or a lefty in front of the net, but that makes a big difference.
Coyle wins the draw, and Scandella with a drive. Leonard with another stop. Now at FoxSportsNorth.com, check out a photo gallery and Brian Hall's analysis from tonight's game. And all the information leading up to Hockey Day Minnesota, which takes place this Saturday. And Tyler Mason details what's going on with the setup for the Gopher outdoor hockey game on Friday. Zucker alone in the slot, a shot, and a blocker saved by Leonard. Scandella battling to hold the zone. McCulloch carries into the Minnesota end. His shot easily blocked by Prosser. Scandella handles the carom off the wall. Prosser for Coyle. Coyle wraps it in. Zucker and Heatley on the forecheck. Zucker's the first man there. Puck popped up in the air. Heatley slides it back to Zucker. Now to the point for Brodin. Banks it off the wall. Heatley's in the corner. To Coyle in behind. Coyle takes a shove. Got the puck to Zucker. Zucker trying to work free from Carlson. Couldn't do it. McCulloch. And he hits Suter up in the face with his stick. And there's no call coming. McCulloch into the Minnesota zone. Floated one toward the slot area. Brodin fortunately had Conacher tied up. Brodziak at center. Dumps it into the Ottawa zone. Ryan plays ahead for Turris and across to MacArthur. MacArthur's return pass was behind Turris. Puck goes into the corner. Wild start back. Cook to Prosser. They're 4-on-3 at center. Fontaine has his shot deflect just wide. Brodziak shoves it in behind. It hops by Fontaine. He recovers. Got it to Matt Cook. Cook spins to try and escape Turris, but can't do it. Turris clears. Scandella holds. Cook centered, and it was kicked just wide by Fontaine. Cook tried to get it to Brodziak, and Brodziak was tied up. Couldn't get a shot away. Wild trying to quickly turn it back in. Catch the Senators in a change. Howell is quickly in on the forecheck. Weirkoch has it on the near side. Out of the head to Stone, who drops it back in his own zone. Mathot plays it ahead, and Kemper will leave it behind the net. Veilleux got it to the line. Cece's shot goes wide. Spezza bumped by Howell, who lost his stick, has to get it back. Stone a shot and a save by Kemper.
Aggressive save there by Kemper, way out on top of his crease. Wild needed to lock that play down. Earlier, McCulloch going after a puck, and look at catches Suter right up into the chin. That was a very similar type play that earlier on occurred that cost the Wild a double minor on Granlund when he caught Carlson up in the face area. No cut, no blood, but should have been at least a minor penalty. So McCulloch gets away with one, and I'm sure the coaching staff not very happy with that, given the fact that there were 3 power plays against in the first period that kind of gave the momentum to Ottawa.
Since that first period, the game has been even at the very least, if not in Minnesota's favor. Scandella broke his stick on the shot attempt, and here's a chance for Condra. Scandella hustling back, pulls him down, and Condra scores. Unfortunate break for Scandella, whose stick shatters on the shot attempt.
Well, and he was taking a penalty on the play, too, for kind of tackling Condra as he went towards the net. Really had no other choice. Defensively, that stick, so important. Blows his stick up on the shot, and then attempts to get back into the play, and watch how he just has to wrap him up because not much else he could do there. Andre does a good job of staying with this. He was being pulled and held and still was able to slide that puck underneath Kemper.
See how Minnesota responds to the Ottawa goal. Suter fights to hold the zone. Granlund played it down low, but it's intercepted by Carlson. Pominville for Minnesota. Slides it across to Suter. Suter's pass intercepted at neutral ice. Conacher's back in. His shot well wide. Brodin ahead for Granlund. Niederreiter brings it in and fires right on. A save by Leonard, and there's no rebound as Niederreiter and Carlson collide in front of the Ottawa goal. It's 2-0 Senators. Senators lead the Wild 2-0 nearing the midway point of the third. Our Bud Light What's on Tap. Start of a homestand for Minnesota. Edmonton Thursday, then Dallas as a part of Hockey Day Minnesota on Saturday. They'll head to Dallas and then return home to face the Blackhawks. Edmonton and Dallas facing each other this evening. Dallas up 4-2 after 2 in that game. Kevin mentioned earlier, Dallas trying to snap a losing streak that has seen them slip 8 points behind the Minnesota Wild. Zucker tried to center. Heatley was tied up. Brodin backpedals and plays across to Suter. Zucker taps it in. Wild have spent much more time in the offensive zone in the second and third periods tonight, but still have not managed to get the forecheck going where they've had great offensive chances. Zucker banks it out to neutral ice. Carlson carries to the Minnesota line. Fires right on. A pad save by Kemper. Suter stops behind the net. Got it to Jason Zucker. Plays across to Brodin. Fontaine relays it in as Minnesota finishes a change. Fontaine tried to play it to the corner. Senators turn it back the other way. Ryan has his shot deflect off of Fontaine, and Brodziak lugs it back for Minnesota to Matt Cook. Cook carries in, tried to center, was looking for a tip. Fontaine at the top of the circle, banks it off the end boards. Stoner pinches, drops it to Brodziak. Brodziak plays it across. Matt Cook is there. Stoner's able to hold the zone for Minnesota. In behind, Fontaine tries to jam it in, and Leonard is able to get a cover and a whistle.
That's what I like about Fontaine. He's very tenacious, playing in that third line role right now, and defensive responsibilities, shutdown responsibilities. It does not mean, though, that he can't try and take advantage of offensive ones as well. And it's just there, so you continue jamming away at it until you hear a whistle. And Turris kind of tackles him at the end of this, protecting his goaltender. But I just love the way Fontaine is managing his game, regardless of where he is in the lineup, whether he's playing top line minutes or whether he's playing third or fourth line minutes. He always seems to bring something in the role that he is playing in that hockey game.
Granlund draws against Greening. Draw controlled by Minnesota. Pominville fires, deflects off of Niederreiter. Greening tracks it down on the far side. The Senators clear to neutral ice. Cowan plays it into the Minnesota zone, but Niederreiter's back to pick it up. Brodin to Pominville. Suter has to recover in the corner. Niederreiter whacks it out to neutral. Carlson brings it right back in. Suter tried to slide one through for Zucker, who was breaking into the Ottawa zone, but it's turned back the other way. Centering pass winds up at the point. Phillips winds and fires, and a save made by Kemper. We're going to get a penalty called as Zucker was tangled up with Zibanejad. Or was it Brodin? It looks like it's going to be Brodin for a hold.
Minnesota penalty number 25. 2 minutes forward.
Well, Wild certainly getting the short end of the stick on the short-handed situations. Which, like you said earlier, isn't necessarily indicative of the fact that the Wild aren't deserving of some of their penalties, but they definitely have not gotten a couple calls in their way, especially that high stick to Suter earlier on in this period. So now the Wild with a big kill here. Not a great job.
That's going to end quickly. There's going to be a face-off interference call. And Conacher and Prosser exchanging words. The Ottawa power play comes to an end 3 seconds after it started as McCulloch and Prosser were tangled up.
Number 19 is interference.
Well, right there, he stepped in front of Prosser as Prosser was going out to try and get to the puck. And so that's when McCulloch hits to the box for the interference.
So it's 4-on-4 for nearly the full 2 minutes, a minute 57. Granlund and Pominville up front for Minnesota. Blum and Suter on defense. Ball controlled by Pominville. Got it to Granlund. Didn't get much on the shot. Leonard with a save. Granlund pokes it out to the point for Suter. Whips across to Blum. Blum carries down low. Pominville trying to help dig the puck loose. Instead, Carlson comes away with it and races back through neutral ice. Poked away by Suter. Pominville has it. Suter joining the rush. Pominville for Suter, and it was just out of his reach. Pominville behind the net. Got it to Suter, looking for Granlund. Granlund has it taken away by Cowan. Clear to the line. Blum plays it back in. The Wild have to exit the zone. They change their 4 skaters. Minute 12 left in 4-on-4 hockey. Turris lost it to Scandella. Banks it ahead for Zucker. Conacher lifted his stick just enough to disrupt. Coyle has it. Coyle's knocked off the puck by Phillips. Zucker tried to center. Coyle recovers. Tried to sneak it out to the point, but is taken away by Zibanejad. Coyle across to Scandella. Scandella at center ice. Gains the Ottawa zone. Battles along the boards. Conacher's there. Zucker's shot deflects up and caught Phillips in the face, and they blow the whistle as Phillips took this deflection right up in the nose area. Took away a scoring chance for Minnesota, unfortunately. 2-0 Ottawa. Ottawa scored on the power play in the first period. MacArthur with the redirect on a Turris pass. And then Eric Condra on the breakaway. Slid one by Kemper to make it 2-0. Robin Lehner has stopped all 21 Minnesota shots to this point. MacArthur with that power play goal in the first, and then Ottawa seemed content to try to win the game 1-0. It's been a defensive-minded effort since.
Well, other than those two very good opportunities, the one deflection by MacArthur, and then, of course, the breakaway here in this period, it has been a pretty much an even hockey game. Neither team getting any great scoring chances. But sometimes all it takes is that one or two good opportunities, and maybe the Wild will find something here in the last 9 minutes.
10 seconds left in 4-on-4 hockey. Condra, the man who scored the second goal, moments after Marco Scandella's stick exploded on a one-timer attempt from the blue line.
Well, you can clearly call that a break, a good break for Ottawa. Scandella does load up that stick when he shoots it. And so there is the risk that every once in a while that stick's going to snap right in half, as it did when he took that shot.
Spezza carries into the Minnesota zone. Penalties are over. It's 5 skaters aside. Scandella works his way in. Fires. Saved by Lehner. Zucker had a chance on the rebound, and so did Coyle. Finally, Spezza comes away with the puck for Ottawa. And they're offside at the Minnesota line.
Well, if none are coming, you have to create some, and that's where maybe defense can jump in here. Nice little, watch this little shimmy step here by Scandella. Goes around and then gets a shot, although it was deflected at the last second, taking away some of its effectiveness. Good to see the pressure around that net, though, by Zucker and Coyle, who also pounded away at it.
Turris drops to the point. MacArthur quickly on it. Plays it back up high for Mathot. Threw it off the end wall, and Brodin is there for Minnesota. To Suter, and back to Brodin. Turris centers. Ryan breaking in. And it pushed it just wide. May have deflected off of Kemper. Matt Cook picks it up for Minnesota to Brodziak at center. 3-on-3 at the Ottawa line. Fontaine looking for a tip. The shot winds up wide and cleared back out to neutral ice. Blum to Matt Cook, who brings it in. Cook tried to center for Blum. Blum throws it out front. It deflects all the way across. Stoner pinches to hold for the Wild. Forced the puck into the corner. Now has it back. Centers. Heatley's tied up out front. Brodziak drops to Zucker on the backhand. Glove saved by Leonard.
Penalty coming up here, though. I think it's a hook. Zucker was tugged at as he drove to the net. Good save by Leonard, but I think he was...
Number 17 is for hooking.
He drives in here. Not sure where that hook occurred.
Not sure Paul McLean does either.
Well, I didn't see it on the Zucker entry. It might have been on someone else. But Zucker didn't appear to be thwarted in any way, and it was a good save by Leonard on the glove.
Coyle wins the draw, but it comes all the way out through neutral ice. Wild with their second power play chance of the night. Officially their third. They had a 3-second power play just moments ago. Granlund brings it in. Granlund tried to drop it back. He falls in the corner. Carlson will have a chance. Pressured by Coyle. Granlund comes away with it. Out to the point, Pominville. Pominville's long shot got through. Had saved by Leonard. Granlund to the point for Pominville. Back to Granlund. Granlund's knocked down from behind. Wild able to hold. No, they're not. They say it came out as Heatley was breaking toward the net.
And Heatley had a couple of choice words for the linesman there. Seems like the Wild are getting the, legitimate or not, they seem to be getting the short end on the offside calls. I don't know about that.
That puck never left the zone.
Yeah, they're getting the short end on the, seemingly the short end. I think that the goal scored by MacArthur in the first certainly appeared like it was still onside. The second look here, you see the puck crawling to the blue line. It was not out. That's pretty definitive. So,
and remember that as Heatley was bringing it back in, Charlie Coyle was all alone out front of the Ottawa goal. Bad break for the Wild. Suter holds the zone. Pominville back to Suter. Over to Granlund. Granlund down low, Coyle. Coyle waiting, centered! And Heatley pushed it wide. Senators able to clear. Still 40 seconds in the Minnesota power play. Charlie Coyle dumps it in. Heatley in the corner. Dumped it behind. Senators clear and nobody home at the point for Minnesota, so the puck comes all the way down. Less than a half a minute in the man advantage. Jason Zucker races ahead for the Wild. To Niederreiter at the Ottawa blue line. Zucker to Fontaine. Drops it back for Blum. Whipped it across for Brodin. Brodin holds his own. It caroms out front. Fontaine took one whack at it. And Leonard has it pinned up against the side of the goal.
Wild haven't had a ton of power plays in this game, but the ones that they have had have not been able to really establish zone time. And it's tough to score on the rush, even if you have the man advantage sometimes.
Wild win the draw. Prosser drops to Scandella for a shot. That's off the end glass. Senators are back at full strength. Granlund tries to wrap it around. Deflected off of Leonard. Turris clears. Knocked down at center by Scandella, who plays it in. Leonard had to play the puck in a dangerous bounce.
That went under his stick, and it hit his pad that was inside the net. That'd be interesting to look at.
Niederreiter starts it back for the Wild. Less than 5 minutes to go. Pominville drops it back. Granlund wheels and fires, saved by Leonard. Niederreiter pinned up against the boards by Weirkoch. 4 players, 2 for each side. Continue the fight. And the Senators are able to clear it. Suter has to come back to pick it up for Minnesota. Suter lost it at center. Tries to recover, and he's going to draw a penalty. Suter will go for tripping. And Minnesota is a man down with 4:17 left, needing 2 goals to tie. We'll have a preview of Wild Live next.
Tom Hanneman back at Xcel Energy Center, inviting you to join Ben Clymer and me for Wild Live immediately after tonight's game. We'll lock in on tonight's test against Ottawa. We'll take you around the Central Division, and we'll bring you Mike Yo's post-game news conference. Wild Live back to the booth for the final 4:17. Here's Anthony LaPanta and Mike Greenlay.
Thanks, Tom. Also a part of Wild Live will be the DQ instructional. The start and stop drill. Like Ben Clymer doing the instructing there. That'll be worth the time to stick around for Wild Live. Minnesota able to clear. Wild could use something while shorthanded here. The Senators have allowed 5 shorthanded goals this year. Although in this case, I would imagine we'll see a conservative power play approach with Ottawa leading by 2 goals in less than 4 minutes left.
Well, to this point of the game, Ottawa's been the more opportunistic team. Been a fairly even hockey game, but for 2 plays that you can separate. One a line rush on a power play in the first period, and then of course a misfortune of breaking a stick for Scandella that turned into a breakaway for Ottawa, which they also scored on.
Ceci plays it across. Weirkoch with a shot is deflected and then held by Kemper. Darcy Kemper, 28 out of 30 tonight. Zibanejad will draw against Brodziak. McCollum lost it to Brodin. And Brodziak comes to center before flipping one into the Ottawa zone. Wild started slowly tonight. Outshot 15-3 in the first period. Shorthanded 3 times in that period. Ottawa cashed in on one of them for a power play goal. Since the end of the first, the Wild have outshot the Senators 20-15. But they've been chasing all night after the power play goal allowed the first. Matt Cook wins a puck battle and carries it out. Drives it into the Ottawa zone. Half a minute left in the Senator power play. Turris carries in. Try to drop to Ryan. Now back to Turris. To Ryan for a shot saved by Kemper. Rebound was pushed just wide. Cowan holds his own. Across to Carlson. Back to Cowan. Turris with a drive and he scores. And the second power play goal of the night for the Senators is likely the knockout punch here tonight. It's 3-0 Ottawa.
They've been working that back door at the top of the circle in every power play that they've had zone time. And this time it works for them. This one coming right inside the pipe. You could hear it just graze the post as it went in. But this is the look that they've been looking for all evening long. And with the screen, this time it paid off.
13th of the year for Turris. That's 6 in his last 10 games.
Scoring on the power play for Ottawa. His 13th goal of the season, number 7.
And the Senators will continue their winning ways. A very impressive road trip. But we'll see them go 3-0-1.
Turris from Cowan and Carlson, 17-38.
They'll improve to 6-0-1 in their last 7 overall. Wild will now have to focus on the Edmonton Oilers, who will be here on Thursday night. Cowan battling in the corner with Veilleux. Haula plays it back to Veilleux. Haula tries to jam one in on the backhand, and Leonard had the skate pressed up against the post. We get a whistle and a face-off with 1:36 left.
Everyone trying to wrap it or fire it or do something at this point. Leonard, though, has played very well. As I mentioned before, he's only had one start in the last 10 games for the Senators, and it was a loss. So he's come in and played very well here.
Coyle fires one on goal. Leonard with a save, and the net's knocked off as Zucker continues to drive away.
I think Ottawa played a very smart game this evening. They felt that it wasn't going to be a wide open game back and forth, that they wanted to control their defensive zone. I think they've done a very good job of that all night long. They've not allowed, just like the Wild, haven't allowed a lot of glaring opportunities. Well, Ottawa hasn't either. Forcing the Wild to work around behind the net or work from sharp angles all evening long.
Prosser holds his own. Zucker got it to Coyle. Keatley along the wall. Wheels and sends it back down low, out of the reach of Coyle. Wasser throws it toward the net. Coyle spins away. Zucker tried to center. Coyle fights for it along the end wall. Coyle centered. That was behind Zucker. We're in the final minute here in St. Paul tonight. And the Wild on the short end by 3. Stoner bounces it out to neutral ice. Gloved and dropped there. Half a minute to go. Edmonton Thursday night. Then the Dallas Stars here on Saturday for Hockey Day Minnesota. Blum across to Stoner. Wines, fires, pad save by Leonard. Stoner once more. Wines and fires again, and it's gloved and held by Leonard. His 27th save with 6.5 seconds left.
Well, for the Wild, scored 4 or more goals in 4 of their last 6 games, but weren't able to muster the same kind of production here in this one tonight.
Scrum after the faceoff. Mathot comes away with it, and the Senators gain a split in the 2-game season series. A shutout tonight for Leonard in the nets as he stops 27 Minnesota shots, and he's our temp star of the game.
Well, it wasn't overly tested, but, you know, a lot of times if you're not your own worst enemy, then you can find yourself on the right end of the score, and I don't think he was. He challenged all night long, got a lot of help from his defense, but nevertheless did not give up any glaring rebounds, did not make any miscues, was solid on both posts, and it was up to the Wild to force him to make mistakes, which they weren't able to do. Well, Leonard gets the shutout here for the Senators.
And Tom Hanneman, a disappointing night at home for Minnesota as the Wild fall 3-0.
Senators, Anthony silenced the Wild on their home ice tonight. Coming up next on Wild Live, we'll talk about how they slowed Minnesota down tonight, and we'll hear from Wild head coach Mike Yeo. Still to come, the DQ instructional as well, the start and stop drill. Wild Live coming up next.